A very inconvenient truth that I think it'll be beneficial for us to address early on is the probability that we're not as good as we think we are, and our services and products aren't as good as we would hope them to be. And this is illustrated when, let's say, you provide your services for 10 people. Is the idea about your service spreading? Are people telling others about your service or your product and what you do? And if not, you'd have to go back to the drawing board and work on it. And to illustrate this, I created a course thinking that it would be very beneficial for the people who watched it. And I was totally convinced. I spent a lot of time researching the course content, creating the content itself so that it flows better and it's logically sound. And I shared it with about 15 or so practice owners, and it didn't spread. It spread a little bit, but of course, like, it didn't spread as much as I wanted it to. So it wasn't a sign for me to go and close the project and say this isn't something that we need to, not do anymore. It's simply a sign that we get to improve our value, that we get to improve the delivery, we get to improve the utility of it, or how it's presented, or many of these things, and remove the blocks to utility to the people we seek to serve, as well as improve and align with what they want to see, right? So our services, when I say our, I mean you included, are probably not as good as you and I would like them to be. And is it spreading on its own is the real criteria we have to look at. Because if it's not spreading on its own, then we need to go back to the drawing board and improve the actual service itself. And this is also illustrated in things like Tesla. Early on in their business life, Tesla famously spent $0 on advertising. Similarly with Google, that they really never advertised Google, and all these two companies did was go back to the drawing board, focus on improving their product, improving their service, until it started to spread. And once that spread happened, then they started advertising towards it. Then they started buying billboards, doing PR and things like that. So the first thing we have to do is to create something that is valuable and get it to spread. All right, so that's a fundamental shift in itself that I hope you start to consider. And the question becomes, how do we improve these things? How do we make it better? And the idea of better is completely subjective. If you asked me what better was, then the course I created was better. If you asked a dentist who I had given the course to what better was, it's likely that their idea of better was different, hence why my course didn't get the reception I thought it would, and why I'm working on version 3. So who is it that you're seeking to serve? Whose idea of better do you want to align with in order to attract? And identify that and do the work of aligning everything in your offering to better serve it. And once you do that, you'll have something that spreads. That when you can create something valuable for someone that aligns with their ideas of what better is, you have something valuable for them and it'll spread. All right, so that is the work of marketing. Marketing is not so much about the visibility, the advertising, the promotions. It's about creating something that spreads. All right, I hope you take that seriously, and I hope that really fundamentally shifts how you show up in your practice. All right, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.